Hello, everyone. It's time for well, I don't want to say the final N scale review, the final of this round of N scale reviews. Today, we're going to be looking at all of the rolling stock. All right, so the first ones we're going to take a look at are Annie and Clarabelle. So pretty much basically the same molding, other than one says Annie and one says Clarabelle. I mean, their faces are even exactly the same. So, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a disappointment because Clarabelle on all Bachmann models is always missing her conductor/guards compartment. I don't know why they can never get that right. I mean, they have all the references that would show that Clarabelle has the guards compartment, but they don't make a special tooling for Clarabelle. They just use the same one for Annie and Clarabelle. So honestly, not really much else to say. I do like the red buffers and then the black underframe. I think that is a really good look for Annie and Clarabelle. Gives them a nice little bit of color down there. And that sounded weird. As always, they've got the original, I think now these are just considered European style, but in America, these were called Rapido couplings. So not like Rapido Trains Inc., but these are much newer. I don't know what I'm saying there. Rapido couplers are much older than Rapido Trains, the company now. There we go. So anyways, before I start handling them like crazy, that's Annie and Clarabelle. I'll be right back with the next set. Okay, so here are the open 7-plank wagons. We got Troublesome Truck number 1, Troublesome Truck number 2, and Scruffy. I can still remember a time when these were the only ones we had in the HO line. Now they're the only ones open wagons we've got in N scale. So Scruffy, I don't know. I always feel like this is a really odd choice because, like, Bachmann claims that Stepney can't be made because he's not relevant to the show. Well, Scruffy hasn't been in the show for like longer than Stepney has. He was only in one episode. So they can't, I don't know. Anyways, this is a cheap and easy way to get an interesting looking piece of rolling stock. So Scruffy is just orange with gray planking. Basically, I think what they were going for is, well, he's kind of a regular 7-plank wagon, but instead all of his bracing and all of his metal parts have turned. I guess in this case, to me, they look more like they've been painted orange, but they're supposed to be like they've gotten all rusty. So, not much else to say about Scruffy. He does have some better detailing, at least in the HO one. The HO one, I think, didn't have all of this, or I forget how they did it, but it kind of looked goofy, and I didn't really like it. I do think that they should have printed the white on and then put the orange on afterwards. That's my opinion. Look a little bit better. But anyways, that's Scruffy. So put him off to the side there. And then we're gonna look at Troublesome Truck number 1. They've used this face molding for, oh my gosh, forever. Now they've just shrunk it down to N scale. And I actually think that the printing looks really, in the painting looks really good. Everything about these cars actually looks really good. I'm not sure if I say that these are unique to the Bachmann line. At least the tooling for the underframe is unique. It does say copyright Thomas and Friends. I think it says 2020, but it's really small and really hard to see. So Troublesome Truck number 2 is exactly the same, except it has a different face. So those are the open 7-plank wagons. Now let's move on to the next piece of rolling stock, or next group. So these are the 3 tankers. We got the water tanker here in a nice blue. I actually really like these tankers. Again, this one, this is unique. These are based off of existing N-scale tooling. You can tell because on the bottom here, it actually just printed copyright 2021 Gillian Thomas Limited, and if this was unique to the Thomas line, it would be molded in. So you can tell that these N-scale tankers are just based off of the UK tooling. They've got this little nub here, which I definitely know that I know the HO scale versions don't have these, and I also believe that nothing in the television show ever had this little extra. I'm guessing that's like a relief valve or something. So that's a water tanker. It's got a nice lot of color, and I think it looks great. Fuel tanker, again, nice and bright, and with the nice CGI logo on it. I do wish that we got one that said Sodor Fuel instead of just this, because I think that looks goofy, but I think that they did that to appeal to the international audiences, probably. Honestly, no idea. And then we've got the oil tanker. You know, there's not much to say about these. They do have some nice molded in detail. And then the brake rigging also looks pretty good. But other than that, they're just, they're just tankers. They got nice rivet detailing on the ends. And some decent printing for the logos. So we got one more set of rolling stock to look at. Let's get into it. All right, so these are, oh man, really light. These are the box vans. They do roll pretty well, I'll admit. But they're super duper light. I'd like to open one of these up and see what kind of weight they put in here, because it feels like in all 3 of these they didn't put anything in there. And even compared to like the tankers, you feel like they could have made these nice and heavy, but they're not. They're really, really light. It's like ridiculously light, if you ask me. I could throw these and they'd like float like a feather back down to the ground. So anyways, take a look at the Great Western van first. Again, just a copy of the HO1. I think this single vent van tooling looks pretty good. I'd imagine that at least the underframe is unique. I'd probably say that the whole thing, both, what am I trying to say? That the whole top and the bottom is unique. I just punched it. I don't want to do that. Is a unique tooling to the Thomas & Friends line, which is pretty cool, because I really like this single vent van. Though I hope they do a double vent like they've done in HO and the Signal. Although I believe most of the rolling stock in the CGI series was a single vent. We do have some nice printing of the Sodor Fruit and Veg company. You can see all the paneling there. And nice gaps. And the ice cream van. I believe in HO that the ice cream piece is like, 3D. I don't remember, but I think this looks okay just printed on there. It would have been neat to see one that was a separate piece, although that probably would have made this one more expensive. So again, not much to say about these. They're super duper light, as I mentioned before. But we're going to get them all lined up here, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on all of them and tell you which ones, if you're looking to collect the N-scale line, or at least, get started, which ones you need to go for. All right, so right now, this is the entire N-scale lineup. We've got 3 open wagons, 3 tankers, 3 box vans, and 2 coaches. I believe the next upcoming stuff for Emily's coaches, and then Henrietta. Not sure about any other. Oh, and Toad the brake van. How could I forget Toad? So we've got 3 unique named characters here, and then 3 box fans with no faces, 3 tankers with no faces, and 2 unnamed troublesome trucks. It is what it is. So if you're looking to start out in the N scale line, I personally would highly suggest Annie and Clarabelle and Thomas. Can't go wrong with Thomas. That's my opinion, though. I think, though, that the best pieces of rolling stock right now are the tankers. They're nice and they've got a good weight to them. They're not light like these ones or the box fans. These tankers actually have some heft to them, so they'll stay on the tracks much better. I've noticed that coupling them together is much easier than trying to couple these together. Say, I know it's going to be difficult, but if you're trying to just push them, they're never going to push until they get some resistance. These ones just couple right together. There's enough weight to them. So I will probably be finding a way, getting some small weights and adding some weight into most of these cars and adding loads to the troublesome trucks so that they can have a little bit more weight as well. Annie and Clarabelle I actually feel are pretty good for their size. They're not as heavy as these, but if you try to put them together, I take that back. They do not couple together. If you run them together fast, they do. Maybe with some resistance on the track, they may. I do have a small piece of track over here. And that was, yeah, even Annie and Clarabelle could use some weight. So it seems to me that when Bachmann reuses tooling from their N-scale Europe line, they're a lot heavier than when they make their own unique tooling. But in any case, I would always recommend these ones, Annie and Clarabelle, because Annie and Clarabelle are iconic. But if you're thinking about getting just like, I don't know, James and a couple freight cars, definitely recommend the tankers out of anything. So you can just knock this. I'm knocking them everywhere. So anyways, I recommend the tankers, then the box vans, and then the wagons, the open wagons. If you're looking to get Thomas, definitely get Annie and Clarabelle. If you're looking to get Emily when she comes out, get Emily's coaches. If you're looking for Toby, wait, Henrietta's coming out soon, so I'd recommend picking her up. Hopefully we see some other new announcements of rolling stock, such as some mail cars for Percy. With Gordon coming out soon, I hope we see some express coaches, and then, sure we'll get Henry, so we'll have to get some red express coaches, the red coaches like Annie and Clarabelle, maybe even probably Toby's museum coaches, because I'm sure that they'll do that in every scale. And then we'll just have to see what else comes out in N scale. But all in all, I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got a great line ahead of us, and if you're an N scaler and you want some Thomas stuff for your layout, I highly recommend checking out Bachmann's line. Already more expensive than the Tomix line, and I think much better in scale and much better quality running. So that's my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below as always, and if you like this video, why not leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned. There's plenty of more videos to come. I've got some exciting new projects that I'm almost finished with, that I'm almost ready to show off. So be on the lookout for those. And that's it from me. So thank you, everyone. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.